Hi, welcome back to our podcast, Good Deeds Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Nicole Quinn. This is Bill Weidecker with the Fine Homes Group at Keller Williams. And I believe we had some New Year's resolutions talk that we were planning on today, huh?
Well, don't we all, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of the year, when I always get introspective towards the holidays,
Sure.
and I'm thinking about, well, what's going to be different for me this new year, this upcoming, and it's interesting. Would you want to hazard a guess as to what the number one resolution?
Weight loss.
You're close. That's number two. That's number two,
Okay.
and number one kind of goes in line with it,
Uh-huh.
which I may have telegraphed the answer, but it's I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to exercise more in 2023, and we had a client once who owned a handful of Planet Fitnesses around the country, and he said that by Valentine's Day, the real dedicated people that work out got their gyms back because the rest of the people that were going to exercise more within 6 weeks had kind of given up.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely peters off pretty quickly.
It made me wonder, in light of talking, I knew we were going to talk a little bit about what people's resolutions are for the year. I thought, where do they actually come from? So I checked into it. The ancient Babylonians.
Wow. So it goes all the way back.
4,000 years. 4,000 years. Made resolutions as the calendar, the new, upcoming through into the new year.
Wow.
So interesting that it goes this concept of us making changes in our lives goes back a lot of time.
Yeah. Wow.
But it leads me to this, and there's an opportunity always when we make resolutions, especially for those of us that say in 2023, I'm going to acquire that vacation property, or I'm going to take more time off and I'm going to think about moving, or I'm going to buy something a little bigger, or I'm going to get ready so that I can sell in 2024. I guess what I really want to hammer home today is this, Nicole, is if you're thinking about moving in 2023 at any time, you really should reach out to us now. And here's why. There's a huge opportunity for people that are looking to make a move if they've got a property to sell. And what I mean by that is in the state of New Hampshire, despite what we hear across the country and the fact that the market has trended down, that is not the case in New Hampshire if you're selling property. Yes, closed sales are down, but that's because we just don't have enough active inventory.
Yeah.
Just to give some perspective, and of course, if you're regularly watching this podcast, we talk about active inventory. Well, as of this week, we're under 1,200 single-family homes, and we were talking about if you had a buyer that was looking to buy a home in Goffstown this morning, there's only 4 single-family homes on the market in all of Goffstown. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you're thinking about selling a home in Goffstown this year, you should be clicking your heels with happiness, because all you really have to do, more or less, is be within spitting distance of value of where it might be worth and put it on the market. You're probably going to sell it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen, to give perspective, the town of Auburn this morning, there were 5 houses on the market. Hooksett, 6. Manchester, 30. 110,000 people in the entire city, and there's 30 houses on the market.
Yeah, that's really nothing.
And Bedford, I think there were 15. So there's a huge opportunity out there. So if your resolution is that you're going to make a move this year, my advice is to contact us at the Fine Homes Group and say, let's at least begin the conversation, regardless of when the move might take place, even if it is in 2024. Having this knowledge about what's going on, we can give you all the tools and all the weaponry to succeed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know if you want to touch on, but a lot of times when we bring up this sense of opportunity in the current market in New Hampshire, I think people are seeing a lot of national headlines, and it feels like there's a lot of doom and gloom spoken about about real estate in general right now.
Well, think of this from this perspective. Bad news sells.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's anything that's going to make people crack crack the paper or crack into the internet or whatever it
just
is.
click the link.
Yeah, they're going to be like, wow, this happened. Let me go check.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the headlines tend to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
And so whenever we hear things about let's be real candid. Interest rates have doubled on mortgages in a year.
Mhm.
So they've gone from in the low threes to the mid sixes. That's going to have an effect on affordability.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, prices have continued to climb. Now, why is that? Is because there is an inventory issue, at least in New England and certainly in New Hampshire. Other parts of the country we've already seen a shift, a major shift. That's not the case in Arizona. It's not the case in Las Vegas. It's starting not to be the case in portions of California. Why is that? They tend to usually be the ones that raise that flag first that the market is shifting. Don't know what that means for us. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But there's certainly reasons to be hopeful in the state of New Hampshire. And here's what I've always found. There are always reasons that people are going to move, regardless of the economy, regardless of the interest rates. I've been working in this industry since the 1980s, and the prime lending rate in 1983 when I started was 21%.
That's shocking.
Well, and so automobile loans. My first automobile loan was 21%. Fixed rate mortgages were 16.
Okay.
So we're not there,
No.
and there's no reason to believe at all that we're ever going to be there.
Let me guess, people were still buying houses.
I had a fantastic. At the time, people were saying to me, "What are you doing getting into the real estate business? Do
Yeah.
you know what the interest rates are?"
Mm-hmm.
And many people were selling homes and buying homes. It's things continue to happen. It's
Yep.
just affordability does have an impact, and it will cause prices to sort of halt at some point. We're not quite there in New Hampshire yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do suspect that we're going to get there in 2023, where prices just will no longer go up.
Yeah. I would agree. All right. Well, that was very informative. I think moral of the story is, if your New Year's resolution is to sell your home, now's the time.
Well, it's certainly now is the time to start the conversation,
Yeah.
and you may elect to put it on the market sooner rather than later, or you may not, but at least have the conversation now.
Yeah.
That's the waiting. You'd rather say I'm glad I did rather than I wish I had.
Yep.
At least have that conversation.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, thank you, and thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite podcast platform.